Folks, it's Damien reporting live from the You Might Know Her From Patreon. We are coming here to let you know that we're giving you a sneak peek of this week's Patreon episode with film critic and writer Nathaniel Rogers of The Film Experience. We get into Oscar snubs, Oscar nominations, predictions, and also, of course, we have to ask a ton of weird Oscar lore questions. So check out the sneak peek right now, right here. And if you're digging it, then go over to the Patreon to finish the rest. We are back on You Might Know Her From, and we are very excited to be here today because we are here with film critic, writer, award prognosticator, Nathaniel Rogers. Nathaniel, thank you for being here on the show.
I'm very excited to be here. I love nothing more than talking actresses.
Oh my God, us too. You are our people, and I feel like it would be remiss to say like your website, The Film Experience, was like my favorite place to go when I first got into like Oscar quote unquote prognosticating. And I think that like for the last 10 to 15 years, I think like both Anne and I have more perspective on like what it is to be like an award circuit, if you will. But we're really excited to talk to you about like this year's nominations and of course actresses, and also just I think like the earnestness of the Oscars I still care about, but it's like that it's the other stuff that is sometimes disillusioning, disillusioning. You know what I mean?
I do. I try not to care actually, but
Completely.
it never quite works.
I know Damien and I were just talking about this. How it's like, you get older and you're like, oh, this is just a press junket. And it's like whatever studio has the most money to put behind a campaign. It's not, like it's apples to oranges. Like, what is the point of all of this? And then every year that I try to divest, I'm like, oh, I'm short of watching all the movies. I got to get this shit in so I have an opinion. And I was like, oh, I guess I still care all these years later.
I always fantasize about going on like a month-long like boat voyage, like I'm back in the 30s or something, and like I'm sorry, I can't be involved in the Oscars this year.
The Queen
Nathaniel,
Anne.
oh my gosh, like that movie with Diane Wiest and Meryl Streep when they're just like on a boat talking, improvising while they play Clue, please. Nathaniel, do you remember or do you have like an Oscar like origin story? Like what locked you into the awards or and made you start caring so much?
I do. I am Gen X, and so most of my audience was millennials, of course, because I was blogging in the aughts. And I started watching that in the 80s. The only thing I'd ever heard about the Oscars before the first time I saw it was my parents and my older siblings complaining about Star Wars losing. And I was like, what are they talking about? I had no concept. So and then I randomly saw like a TV guide that's for young people. It used to be like a magazine that
Yeah,
you
of
learn about
course.
what
It
was
was
on
so
TV.
special.
And then they had an Oscars cover, and I'm like, what's this shiny naked gold man? And then I was very hooked after that.
Yeah.
And so that was like the first one I watched was like the terms of an it was no, it was like the 1982 Oscars in 1983. And
Is
then
that Terms of Endearment? Is that right? Is that same
no,
year?
that was it's so funny. It's like you mention a best picture and I'm immediately no, that was Sophie's Choice year because it's best actress, right? But I had not seen any of the movies, and so oh yeah, it was like Gandhi year. No, I
It's
had
Chariots of Fire, I think, is
no
82.
Gandhi. It was the Gandhi
Uh,
year, 82. So I had
okay.
actually no, I had seen the movies, but the Oscars was like completely new to me because it had all these huge hits that year. So it was like E.T., Tootsie, like all these things that families went to.
Yeah.
And so I was a kid and like I was hooked ever after.
I love it. I think I like the old show business of it and the production numbers. And I feel like I started watching kind of in the 90s. Did you see live the Snow White year, the Snow White Rob Lowe year?
I did very much.
Okay. Oh my God. Like, what a piece of beautiful, weird Oscar history. I'm so glad that existed. It's like, I feel like they were trying to do something similar with James Franco and Anne Hathaway, but like
Oh my
they didn't
God.
go all in. It's like, just go all in if you're going to go all in.
But every time they try to appeal to like the youth, it's like always a misfire.
Always.
I'm
Can
like,
I ask,
just
like,
cater to your audience.
can I ask who, like, if you were like, let's get this person to host the Oscars in their heyday, like right now, who would you choose?
Oh gosh. I was preparing for all these questions, but not that one.
I know, sorry. I was just thinking about how, like, in my head, basically Damien and I are only interested in women, and I love when Whoopi Goldberg hosts, but it's like
That's
I
what I was
really
gonna say when she came out dressed as Queen Elizabeth. It's like so like burned in my brain.
totally.
I did have this fantasy in the 90s of like somebody really edgy, like a Sandra Bernhardt or something hosting.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that would be fun.
Totally.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they would never in a million years go for it, but like,
Yeah.
but then I remember like later on, I was like, what about those years when actors hosted like what whole set of actors? And I thought Lily Tomlin and
Mm,
Meryl Streep,
that'd be so good.
you
That would be
know,
yeah, they did that. They were so good together, and they did that bit for Prairie Home Companion. I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
they're naturally good at this."
yes,
Or like Meryl and Tracy Ullman would be great, you know? I mean, I
Oh.
don't
yeah,
know that anybody in middle America cares about Tracy Ullman, but I do, you know?
yeah, or Emma Thompson.
Oh,
She's so
totally.
funny.
She's so good at, like, taking the piss out of the thing, but somehow because she's British, it, like, still elevates the material. You're like, "Oh, this is fancy," but, like, she doesn't care.
Right. And even when she does like a shtick, it feels like so organic and natural.
Totally.
I met her at this party for Saving Mr. Banks. Do you guys remember this
Of
movie?
course,
Yes.
yes.
And so I met her at this party, and you know she was talking to me, and then she put her hand. She's like, "Excuse me," puts her hand on my shoulder and slips off her high heels, right?
Mm.
And so she's holding on my hand, and then she did that on the award shows in the televised, and I was like, "Oh, it's a shtick," and I believed it 100%. I
That's
was
old
like, "Give."
showbiz.
Wait,
Yeah.
this is I was just about to say, I remember that shoe bit that she did. That is actually brilliant because I'm remembering in one of the Judy Garland biographies, she talks about, or someone talks about going to see her show, and it was a famous friend. And he saw her at the palace, and he was like, God, you were so good. That whole thing where you like said it, you like took your shoes off and forgot your line for the middle of the song. She said, please don't ever come see me again. Like, that's my shtick. And I was like, I can't believe that that is built in. And she was like, that, like, I'm that good. I can make you believe it. That is old Hollywood. I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
same. Nathaniel, is there like if I don't know what I do know what my answer would be to this question, but I'm curious, like, do you have like a favorite Oscar moment? That's something that's like, if I said what's your favorite Oscar moment, is there something that sticks out all of the years that you've been watching or covering? A
Oh,
win that pleases you. Like for me, I will say like I love Amy Madigan sitting on her hands when Elia Kazan got a standing ovation. I think it's so funny. It also is like I mean, as a young person, I thought it was funny, but now as like an adult, I'm like, yes, she and Ed Harris were like also have good politics, and we're like, what is wrong with this industry? Why are we giving this person who
yeah.
outed? You know, so I love that is like my go-to moment. And do
I
you have a go-to moment that you can help maybe?
This
I
is less award show, but pre-show, which I'm, factoring into all of it is like the sort of media circus in advance of it. Melissa Leo self-funding her own campaign a couple of years ago. That was just like that was one of the greatest like fuck yous, but also like I am playing the game, but I'm not playing the game. And then she
yeah.
won, and apparently she said recently like that did nothing for me. I was like, okay, but you wanted it. So anyway, I love the theatrics of all of it.
Yeah, I think mine would probably be it just in general when people shout out particular people in their acceptance speeches and you get like a shot reverse shot and it's just so beautiful. Like I
Yeah,
always
like the
think
point.
yeah, I always think of like Cher and Meryl Streep with
Mm.
this in the like the late 80s when they're I think it was when Cher won for Moonstruck and she said Mary Louise, which is Meryl's real name, and I was like, oh. And then there was just like back and forth. So it's like stuff like that really gets to me, and I, love it forever.
Can we talk about like other random mentions, like Renee Zellweger mentioning like Sally Ride in her speech? Do you remember she had that speech? She was like John F. Kennedy Jr.,
Wait, why was she
Sally
thanking
Ride.
Sally Ride, the gay lesbian astronaut,
She
for
just had like a laundry list of like artists or like celebrities, our
trailblazers?
heroes, trailblazers. Yes. And I was like, oh, I love this. It's like she wrote it. She clearly wrote this whole bit, but I was like, oh, I love this. This is so
Renee
strange.
Zellweger's like trajectory is so fascinating because like I never would have thought she would come back and like come back in such a big way to win an Oscar, but then she kind of disappeared again. And I feel like I'm sort of into. She seems like a weird artist. She doesn't seem interested in movie stardom, maybe because she flew too close to the sun back in the Chicago Bridget Jones days. But like I kind of have a new respect for her now that she like came back, did Judy Garland, and I know you have feelings about that. Just that are
Oh yeah,
um,
and they aren't good feelings.
100%.
Judy Garland is like sacred to me, so I had an issue with that overall like and then I always had these fantasies of like or Toni Collette doing like a Liza Minnelli biopic.
I remember
Um,
you championing that years ago, and I'm so
yeah,
into that idea, or was, you know?
yeah. And then later there was supposed to be Anne Hathaway doing a Judy
Mm-hmm.
Garland thing, and either of those I would have much preferred.
Totally.
Totally.
I mean, Judy
Totally.
Davis is, we love Me and My Shadows, and like Judy Davis's perform, I mean, and Tammy Blanchard's, for the record, are both so excellent, and like both somehow capture like the physical thing, even though neither of them really look like her. It's a TV movie, and I feel like I recently rewatched it, and it is a TV movie still, but like it's a good TV movie, and I think it is like one of the best. Like I didn't need Judy because I have that, you know?
Right. 100%. Yes.
Okay, so maybe Nathaniel, we have a few like from our mind grapes to you. You tell us like your opinion on this. For example, from your expert opinion, do you think Glenn Close will ever win, or is she going to go the way of Deborah Kerr, like the Deborah Kerrs of the world?
Oh, it's a Deborah Kerr situation for
Really? But
sure. Yeah.
did you think she maybe had it when the wife, or did you think that something like that would happen? Because Olivia Colman's like quote unquote surprised for a better
Yeah.
performance.
I mean, I thought it was definitely possible. I mean, it was obviously neck and neck, but I thought it was definitely possible that year. And I thought she was great in The Wife, and I was like really irritated with like the discourse around it, which often
Mm.
happens with me if I'm online too much.
Yeah.
I was like, stop trashing things you haven't even seen or that you aren't willing to see because you have some sort of bias against it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, yeah, the Glenn Close thing, it's like kind of like the Amy Adams thing too. Like, I guess I get why people need them to have Oscars, but I am like much more concerned about like Annette Bening and Sigourney Weaver and Michelle Pfeiffer, but that's probably because I came of age in the 80s
Those
and
were like your
90s.
women maybe of a time.
Yeah, when
I
I was
thought Annette
young.
Bening was for sure going to get it. I mean, she had that. I really wanted her to get it for being Julia. Who won that year, Nathaniel? Do you remember? I
It
don't.
was Hilary
Hillary
Swank at
Oh
Swank.
that,
my God!
at
How could
the
I
same
even
time.
forget?
That was
She
like,
is the
yeah.
person that has
But see,
thwarted Annette twice.
yeah, and this is the problem with the Oscars in a nutshell. Is like Renee Zellweger winning for Judy when Judy didn't win for A Star Is Born, which is one of the greatest performances of
Snubs.
all time.
Oh my God!
So it's
Yes,
just like
Nathaniel.
the injustice of it is makes me so crazy.
Yeah. What do you think is the calculation? Obviously, it changes every year, but like, why hasn't Glenn Close gotten it? Because I think, once we get to this year, I'll be interested to see if you think, like, for example, Amy Madigan is going to get it in terms of like being for the performance, but also for a body of work. Do you think the calculation is like a popularity contest mixed with money, mixed with how she's perceived in the industry, the performance? Do you have any science that you could share with us on that? Because I know it changes, but I'd be interested in your opinion because you know so much.
I don't think, yeah, I don't have anything scientific to say about this, but I do think that when you are regularly brilliant, people have a much harder time like feeling like, oh, here you go. Whereas if you take someone off guard or they just weren't expecting it from you, I think it's much easier to sort of build that. I think discovery means a lot to people, even if people are not, even if people are already very well known, if they feel like they discovered something new by seeing them in this role or something.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
But if somebody's like always good, like Glenn Close or Amy Adams or Annette Bening or Michelle Pfeiffer, yeah, it becomes like a lot. It just becomes like, oh yeah, they're great. And then it's hard to, have the narrative.
Right. We get used to their greatness. I just heard somebody say recently, I think Megan Rapinoe said this about an athlete. And I thought, it's like you get so accustomed to their brightness that like you don't even see the shine. It really is
Mhm.
Mm.
like, that's such a good point. And I think that people are like, oh yeah, Glenn Close is like second to Meryl Streep, which is maybe the narrative among plebes. Do you know what I mean?
Right, right.
And she wants it so bad, which I think also means they don't want to give it to you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that like her
yeah.
try hard want is like I feel like Annette Bening maybe still has one in her because she like will still get great. I don't know. Sigourney Weaver, Michelle Pfeiffer seems like she's in David E. Kelly TV land, and she seems like she's not going to make a movie probably that is. I feel like that. You could be
Don't break
surprised.
my heart live on a podcast.
And Sigourney Weaver, my mom was like, "Get her on your podcast. She's on the cover of the AARP." And I said, "Mom, she is an A-list actor." I don't know that she is, but for me, she still is. And it's like, but I don't know that she's going to get another Oscar. You never know, I guess. Like that is the cool thing about getting old is you see the women who were like in their prime at a certain point kind of go off the radar for 15 years. And then it's like, you need the people to play the grandmothers. And suddenly, if, it's like, okay, now Amy Madigan is playing a kooky old aunt. And it's like, thank God people are talking about Amy Madigan again. You just never know, I suppose, like what could happen.
Also, I think like, what was the movie French Exit? Was that the Michelle Pfeiffer film with Valerie Mahaffey? May she rest.
Oh yeah, and you saw that at the drive-in.
I saw that at the drive-in during COVID in Queens, and it was such a maybe I'm going to counter Damien with my hope that like Michelle Pfeiffer has so much money and like has such a comfortable life that like what else is she doing to stay interested? Like I hope she does some weird little indie films and international film. So maybe if she gives it a little bit of distance, like she'll come back. And I think it is something about discovery of like, oh, look at Michelle Pfeiffer doing character work. Like she's always been doing character work. She's just gorgeous.
You're right. And like, and Julie Christie came back. Like, I feel like you're right. And I also want to strike from the record that I said grandmothers, but it's like, you need women of a certain age. And it's like, now those women were people that we grew up with seeing as like, the ingenues.
Yeah, so the discovery works for a comeback.
Totally.
That's what we can always hope for. But can I share a crazy Sigourney Weaver story?
Please.
Of course you can. That's what we want.
So I went to Italy with my boyfriend, and we went to Florence because he, studied abroad there, and he was like wanted to show me Florence or whatever. So we went and saw the David, as one is required to do in Florence. And who was standing next to me but Sigourney Weaver staring at the David? So I took a like surreptitious photo of her, and I was like very embarrassed. Because I have met her before, but like, a long time ago at a party, and it was like a 2-second conversation. And I just was so like shocked that she was there, and I'm like, how is this possible? And then we go and sit down by the David, because they have that bench or that rounded bench behind it, and then across from me is Cara Delevingne. I was like, what is happening? The actresses are swarming around me while I'm staring at this beautiful naked man. I was like, it was almost like my actor sexuality and the Oscars coming together in Italy.
So from here on out, the rest of it is going to be available on the Patreon. Thank you so much.